Moody's cuts U.S. outlook to negative, citing higher interest rates and deficits. In the context of higher interest rates, without effective fiscal policy measures to reduce government spending or increase revenues, the agency said, Moody's expects that the U.S. fiscal deficits will remain very large, significantly weakening debt affordability. Brinkmanship in Washington has also been a contributing factor, Moody's said. Continued political polarization within U.S. Congress raises the risk that successive governments will not be able to reach consensus on a fiscal plan to slow the decline in debt affordability, the ratings agency said. Of course, this is announced on a Friday after the close. Hard to believe these credit agencies still hold merit after giving subprime mortgage-backed securities AAA ratings back in the housing bubble. Was only a matter of time. Not a good look for Moody's to be the only agency still rating this shitshow at AAA. Things were going just a bit too well. So this is going to be the new narrative for a market dump next week, got it? If only we the people could come together and vote out all these senior citizens and get some new blood in Congress. We need to reload our bags, so please dump U.S. economy. Powell probably just got an angry call from his successor, a certain blonde lady who was recently next to him. Didn't they already downgrade? Expecting more news from the larger ones. Congress acts when pressures rise. God, I hope they cut the deficit. These ratings are only useful for corporate bonds. Geopolitics is too complex and uncertain for these companies to figure out. Let's be honest. Does anyone much care about rating agencies since they lost all their credibility in 2008? Me. Giving a prep speech to a normal dude and a serial killer. Look, we all have to make sacrifices and work together. I'm worried we're having problems as a team. And that can make our outlook negative to outside investors. So let's figure this out together. You only get good credit with Department silly. Only in politics is stupidity not seen as a handicap. Dump on Monday. Bullish. Bloat and costs in the government need cut drastically and taxes on higher brackets need raised. You can no longer solve the issue with just one or another. It needs to be both and needs to be done now. Treasury is already having a problem with lack of buyers for U.S. bonds, causing rates to go up. This problem will even get worse now. If government costs and revenue can be raised, the issue can still be fixed, but it needs to be done very soon and it will be painful. I fail to see how we don't come out of this without a major recession while things stabilize. Translation: Republicans' inability to do a goddamn thing in Congress can't even get along with each other means a crappier credit rating and higher interest rates for all of us. One useless man is a disgrace. 2 useless men are a law firm. 3 or more useless men is a Congress. Always late to the party. Everybody left. The chicks are gone and they are looking for leftover warm beer bottles. So they will switch back to stable if the government cuts the deficit and the Fed cuts rates? Yeah, Moody's, the most relevant publication of our time. Will the Fed pivot already? U.S. bonds are short for the buyers now. Not looking good in even medium term. If no radical changes, it will be disastrous in long term. What might this mean for the stock market? I think it's funny that people think this stuff still matters. It's like telling a meth addict with 40 credit cards maxed out that their credit rating isn't looking so hot. And the markets move up even higher. No such thing as a risk-free rate. The downgrade could have a number of implications for the U.S. economy. It could make it more expensive for the government to borrow, could slow economic growth and make it more difficult for businesses to create jobs. It is important to note that the downgrade does not mean that the U.S. government will default on its debt. However, it does indicate that Moody's is concerned about the government's ability to manage its finances. Government has a number of options for addressing Moody's concerns. It could reduce government spending, increase taxes, or borrow money at a lower interest rate. Nobody, GOP or Dem, wants to close a mill base or cancel a federal mill or DHS contract. Hell no. They want those EV chargers and 15 contractors to build a border wall and 400 new ICBMs and 4 heavy bomber platforms. MAGA Mike's district includes Barksdale. He ain't cutting shish tea. If you cut food stamps, snap. Hungry folks will flash mob Aldi with hand grenades. $40 trillion debt within next term. Just an absolute disaster with no candidate having any answer. These dudes don't know shit. Wrecked. The silent part they're not saying is that they see a government shutdown about to happen. Because this house is defective. This is exactly what the GOP wants. They want to destroy the U.S. government from the inside. That way Cheeto Jesus can declare the rapture and they live happily ever after in a Handmaid's Tale type world. Long gold. Oh no. Lol. Time to limit up. I mean they are so 2008 and always late anyways. Social Security and Medicare need to be cut. Other things as well. Yes, but rates are absolutely staying higher for longer. 111. Mood putting their credibility on the line. Not a downgrade. They affirmed AAA on the strength of the economy. Tech companies might be bullish since they aren't downgrading now. Maybe give more to NATO, Israel and Ukraine? Ashamed. Monday stock market crazy up. Tears of joy, tears of joy. Zero interest means a lot of companies with profits in the 1-4 zone exist, which is below the riskless ROI. I expect a huge purge of low-profit companies in the next months. US can always print more money though. This is literally meaningless. The US can simply print its way out of any debt. It technically cannot bankrupt. If anything, this is a political statement about the risks of running a country on debt. That's fair. But flash news for Moody's: it's happening since after the '08 crisis. That, for the record, they caused with their BS ratings. Why so moody?